This is the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you'll learn to get unstuck. Start now. Conquer life's challenges by learning to do difficult. Find quick and clever ways to overcome. Wait, did you think life was going to be easy? Remember, all of your excuses are now dead to me. Let's get started. Guess what time it is? It's time for you to hit the subscribe button and find just 1% that you think will benefit from this. But if you're feeling a little like generous, right? Or you're super free with your time right now, probably doing nothing because you're listening to this. Well, maybe if you're doing something, actually just make yourself free right now. Hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Hit it. Come on. Hit subscribe. Your eating preferences. I wanted to know, how does being vegan play into your love of animals? Was that was that decision related, or was that separate?
It was actually separate. So when I transitioned, it was mainly because I ate really bad. I ate like garbage.
Oh. Wait, I meant vegetarian. Sorry. I said vegan, right? I'm sorry. Continue.
I ate like garbage, basically. It was like frozen chicken nuggets and pizza roll, just not good things. But I was a college student, who doesn't really know better. And so I realized that I just didn't feel good, and my studies weren't as good, and, I was gaining weight. So I decided, what is something that I can do to kind of change all of that? So I did months and months of research on going vegetarian, and kind of what it entailed and what my diet would look like and my structure. And then I slowly made the transition. And then when I was, eating vegetarian 7 days a week, I felt so much better. I was sleeping better. I felt like I had more energy. I just all around felt so much better. So basically it started because I ate like crap. And then when I started learning more about that and kind of where our food comes from and how it's made and how it's processed, it kind of became a double-edged sword for me, where it was also like, oh, I'm not only doing this because I don't feel good and I'm feeling better eating a plant-based diet, but there's some horrors that are going on in the food industry, and I don't want to be a part of that or support that. So.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And it's honestly, even I am definitely a meat eater, but it's very, very challenging and very, very expensive and requires so much work and time to just eat good quality food, like as far as meats and how that goes. So there's times where I can't afford to eat meat. I'm like, I'm sure that's probably better for the environment too, but it's just not like when things go up or you can't get from a certain farm that you really trust, it is very challenging. And I just like hearing that. That's one thing I really liked about you, is that we were able to learn so much from our interactions with you at the zoo, but I never felt like guilt about any choices that I made that maybe wouldn't have been the choices you made, although we were trying to build our lives on similar values or morals. And sometimes I find that you start in a different place, or because of your perspective, you're so close with the animals, there's going to be a different extent that you're willing to go. But I love that you were open to share like where you were, and unapologetically, but in a way that was freeing, that wasn't condemning. So I'm going to switch gears just really quick because I am a curious creature. And you said that you were a newlywed. I just kind of wonder what it's like to be newlywed during like COVID-19, because part of me thinks when I was a newlywed, me and my husband, we worked so much, so we rarely hung out. So we would probably hang out twice a month. So I don't know, like, is it like close quarters? Is it fun? Is this like a second honeymoon, or is it a rough time?
It's strange, honestly, because before COVID-19 happened, we had one day off together that we devoted to like going out and doing fun things. and just kind of like building our relationship and our journey together and having fun adventures. And now with COVID-19 happening, my schedule has changed. So I'm working longer days, but I have more time off now because I'm working 10s, which is great. But I'm on an opposite schedule of my husband. So he's working right now in his little home office, and I'm just trying to find like little things to do around the house to keep myself entertained, but stay out of his way as well. So it's really strange because I feel like he's here and I want to do fun things, but I can't interrupt what he's doing, right? So really, it's I don't know, limbo, I guess. It's nice though that we still have our evenings together, so we can still cook dinner and like walk the dog. So like that part hasn't changed, but we can't really like have our dates out out in the world anymore. So we're trying to find things in the evenings to do. But yeah, it's really strange for sure. It's very strange.
Is there anything that you found that has worked? Like, I love that you said you have your dinners together. So like, is that the key to kind of pushing through, or is there something else quirky like watching Tiger King? I know. I might go there. We might not. We'll see. But like, I just want to know because everyone like shares different things. Like, I love how you said that your dogs get out a lot of walks. And I realize that has been like my saving grace. But I wasn't doing it as much because I was thinking I usually drive to a place to hike or a trail to run. So I wasn't thinking to walk around my neighborhood with the kids because, when you look for adventure, you want to go somewhere fun. Yeah. You're like, oh, I want to try this new place, or let's see if we can actually make it to the top of the hill and turn back around and do it again. There's different things. So around my house, it just seemed a little boring, to be honest. So is there anything you felt like that has worked for you guys for strengthening your relationship or just not going insane?
Well, we've been doing a lot of cooking together, which has been interesting. But I feel like one thing that we've been having a lot of fun with lately is that we both really enjoy wine. And so we've been kind of having like fun wine tasting nights, like with bread and, little like nuts and different types of snacks. So that's been kind of fun to do that, to just try different things and talk about it. And then another thing that we've kind of been working together that we've been talking about forever, and I'm glad that we're doing it, is all this yard work. And it sounds so silly, but we've been talking about it forever. And now we have the time in the evenings to actually do it. So we've been spending a lot of time outside, which for me is pretty normal. I work outside, but for him, it's a new adventure being outside. Not to say that he doesn't go outside, but he typically works indoors. So it's nice to get out and enjoy some fresh air together.
I love that. I really do. Now I'm getting inspired to not procrastinate in that area, which my husband is totally like, we're gonna build I don't know. He wants to build something in the yard, and I've kind of like procrastinated it, but now I think I'm gonna lean into that. So I want to go back to zookeeping. What's the hardest thing about being a zookeeper? So you finally make it, to the full-time zookeeping. What's the reality of that, and how difficult is that?
Well, okay, so I feel like I could answer this in a couple different ways, a couple different directions. So I would say the hardest part about being a keeper is that, you don't always get the most ideal schedule. So your days off could be Tuesday and Wednesday. That could be your weekend when your friends have, Saturday and Sunday off, and they're going out and going to the parties, and you're like, oh, I have to go to bed at 9:00. So that can be a challenge, especially, if you're younger, not having the same weekends as your friends. I have to work holidays, so I have not seen my parents for Christmas in many years because I'm having to work the holiday. So that's probably another hard thing. But honestly, I don't mind doing it. We're here for the animals. I love the animals, and I would love to have a schedule that matches my husband, and maybe one day we will. So that's been a little bit of a challenge as well. But I would say that that's maybe the hardest part, other than actually getting to this space now where I am, was also a very difficult journey.
Of course. What do you find is the most rewarding? Besides working with the animals, I know it's the animals, but is there something like super dialed in that maybe only a zookeeper could tell us?
For me personally, there's a couple different things. It's that moment when you're, training an animal on a behavior, it's kind of like when you're teaching your dog to sit and you see that aha moment, in their eyes, and they're like, oh, I get it. This is what you want me to do. So that's super inspiring. I love seeing that. And when I was teaching, it was the same thing when those kids get that aha moment. And then kind of on the other side of that, doing keeper chats or talking with the public about animals, when they're so engaged with an animal and they want to learn more and they're so inspired, like you and your girls, when you come and ask questions, I love that. That really reinforces what I'm doing and, really tells me this is where I am supposed to be in this moment, that I can inspire and challenge others to go out and do the same thing with others. And it just kind of snowballs and, just really creates a world where conservation is important and animals are viewed as important. So for me personally, those are the two things that are super rewarding for me.
Okay, so everyone...
All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening to you. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay. You can keep listening.